off of Palm best fighter in the sport of boxing right now. It's good to see him in this position. In the position.
Not long after their recent war of words, Floyd Mayweather Jr. surprised many by showing up at Gervonta Davis's training camp. The visit didn't stop at a quick appearance either. Mayweather actually stepped into the ring and won a few relaxed rounds with Tank, keeping things light but focused. For now, it looks like the tension that once surrounded their relationship has settled down. Floyd made it clear he didn't come to stir up headlines or reignite old drama. His reason for being there was simple business. From Floyd's perspective, joining Tank's preparations ahead of a potential clash with Jake Paul was the logical move. After all, Mayweather already experienced the world of crossover boxing when he faced Logan Paul in the ring. Because of that first-hand experience, Floyd believes he understands exactly what someone like Jake Paul brings into a fight, the style, the mindset, and the kind of spectacle that comes with it.
It's similar to Logan versus Mayweather, but Jake Paul now obviously is way more advanced than where Logan was at.
When he was asked how he sees the matchup unfolding, Floyd Mayweather Jr. didn't hesitate. In his eyes, Gervonta Davis handles the job without much trouble. Floyd emphasized a lesson he's repeated throughout his career. In boxing, pure size doesn't defeat real technique. If a fighter possesses sharp defense and elite skill, breaking through becomes extremely difficult. He even pointed to his own experience, noting that when he stepped into the ring with Logan Paul, the aggressive pressure still wasn't enough to crack his defense. Working closely with trainer Calvin Ford, Floyd says he has watched Tank evolve from a powerful young prospect into one of the sport's most precise and dangerous finishers. Seeing that transformation firsthand is something he takes pride in. Their relationship hasn't always been smooth, but according to Floyd, maturity changes perspective. Now it's all about mutual respect. That's exactly why he's back alongside Calvin Ford at camp, helping fine-tune Tank's preparation and making sure everything is dialed in. The goal is simple. When the opening bell sounds against Jake Paul, Tank steps into the ring fully prepared and leaves absolutely no doubt about the outcome.
I think it's going to be a great event. Every time I fight is fireworks. Jake Paul coming in, he's much bigger, he's much stronger.
Trainer Calvin Ford, who has guided Gervonta Davis since the early days, isn't the least bit worried about the potential matchup. From his point of view, Tank has already spent years sparring with naturally bigger fighters in the gym, so the size of Jake Paul doesn't intimidate him at all. However, Ford does have one issue he keeps bringing up ahead of the fight: the gloves. He's been very clear that he doesn't want Tank stepping into the ring wearing oversized 12-ounce gloves. According to him, those are meant strictly for sparring sessions, not real fights. Ford insists that if this is going to be a legitimate contest, the gloves should reflect that. His proposal is simple. Tank should wear 8-ounce gloves, while Jake can use 10-ounce gloves. In Ford's eyes, that creates a balanced situation and ensures the bout actually feels like a true fight rather than a padded exhibition. Ford even revealed that he already spoke with someone from Jake's team about the idea. But apparently, they weren't interested in mixing glove sizes. Ford says that's their choice, but if Jake really wants to prove himself, he shouldn't be relying on exhibition-style rules. Ford put it bluntly: if Jake wants to show he belongs in the ring, then let him wear the 10s while Tank fights in the 8s. At that point, there's nothing left to debate. Just step in and fight.
The concern is, the gloves. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't fight in 12-ounce gloves. We don't use 12-ounce gloves. That's training gloves. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's too.
When the conversation shifts to the size gap, neither Floyd Mayweather Jr. nor trainer Calvin Ford seems bothered at all. Reports say Jake Paul is currently hovering somewhere around 190 to 195 pounds, possibly a few pounds heavier than the number that was first discussed. But Ford didn't show even the slightest concern about IT. In his view, the agreement has already been made, and that's all that matters. Once the contract is signed, the focus shifts entirely to performing on fight night. Ford explained that this has always been the mindset surrounding Gervonta Davis. Size, height, or outside noise doesn't define what happens inside the ropes. According to him, the moment the first clean shot lands, the space inside the ring suddenly feels a lot smaller still. While the talk about the Jake Paul matchup continues to build, there's another issue that people close to Tank can't seem to ignore: his reluctance to run things back with Lamont Roach Jr. The unanswered questions surrounding a potential rematch are still lingering around Tank's camp.
Bring something to media and to boxing. You cannot miss a fight. I like it, baby. I like the drama it's bringing, I'll be honest.
But nobody really cares about this fight.
Yeah, are you going to watch it?
Yeah, of course. That's how it's going to go. Nobody really cares, but everybody's going to watch it. Like,
nobody cares.
According to Calvin Ford, the criticism aimed at Gervonta Davis over the rematch talk doesn't make much sense. Ford didn't hold back when addressing the debate, saying that Tank has always been the type of fighter who elevates the profile of anyone he steps into the ring with. From his perspective, Lamont Roach Jr. wasn't a major name before being linked to Tank. Ford believes the attention surrounding that matchup only grew because Tank was involved. That's why, in his eyes, the entire argument about what Tank should be doing next doesn't carry much weight. Ford also made it clear that opportunities in boxing don't come around every day. If other high-profile fighters had been presented with the same kind of offer Tank received, he believes they would have accepted it immediately without hesitation. At the end of the day, Ford isn't interested in letting outside voices pressure his fighter into decisions. For him, the priority is simple: handle business and make the most of the opportunities in front of you. In boxing, he says it's always business first.
You can't be mad at somebody for doing what they feel is best for them.
Will it impact Tank's legacy if Jake Paul were to beat him or even knock him out?
Dude, Tank's a 3-division world champion, 4-time 3-division world champion. At the end of it, bro, you can't take anything away.
At the same time, the arrival of Floyd Mayweather Jr. in camp has noticeably shifted the entire atmosphere. The vibe around the gym feels sharper and more focused. Floyd moves around the ring offering advice, reminding Gervonta Davis to stay composed, think clearly, and rely on the tools that made him dangerous in the first place. His message is simple but powerful: control the pace, stay patient, and dismantle opponents with precise timing and smart shot selection. Mayweather keeps repeating the same belief he carried throughout his own legendary career: physical size alone doesn't decide fights. What truly separates fighters is skill, and coming from him, that message carries weight. Time and time again, Floyd stepped in against bigger opponents and made them look lost, slipping punches and controlling every moment of the fight. That's the exact mentality he wants Tank to embrace now. Fight with intelligence, trust the craft, and let skill take over once the bell rings.
This is a mismatch, and I believe that Jake Paul will knock Tank Davis out, maybe in the third, maybe in the fourth round. Tank will try to move, he will try to stick and move. It's not gonna work out for him, and he will eventually get knocked out.
Seeing Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Calvin Ford working in the same corner again might feel unexpected after everything that's happened over the past few years between Floyd and Gervonta Davis. Yet somehow, it also feels like a natural reunion. Both men played major roles in shaping Tank into the fighter he is today, a dangerous, well-rounded competitor who carries knockout power in either hand while maintaining the calm mindset needed to control big moments. Sure, there were disagreements and tensions along the way, but when you look at the bigger picture, it all comes back to respect and the legacy they helped build together. Floyd understands that the young fighter he once guided has grown into a global star in the sport. And despite the clashes they've had, there's still a sense of pride there at the end of the day. Mayweather clearly wants to see Tank continue rising, proving himself on the biggest stages and solidifying his place among boxing's elite.
Because he was talking about fighting Joshua, which is heavyweight, and now he's saying about fighting Tank. Nah, this can't be. It's Netflix as well. I need to go and do some checks and see if the main pages have posted this, but Jake Paul's posted it. It says Friday, November 14th. It's in Atlanta.
More and more fighters around the sport are beginning to echo what Floyd Mayweather Jr. and trainer Calvin Ford have been saying from the start. Sure, Jake Paul may hold the edge when it comes to size, but when it comes to the qualities that truly decide a fight, many believe Gervonta Davis stands on another level. On paper, the difference in weight might seem dramatic. But people who have actually spent time inside boxing gyms understand a simple truth. When refined skill collides with raw size that lacks deep ring intelligence, the outcome can shift quickly. That's exactly the situation many observers believe is unfolding here. While Jake's physical presence can't be ignored, the technical ability, timing, and overall experience that Tank brings into the ring are the factors experts keep pointing to as the real difference makers.
Tank Davis or Jake Paul. So, immediately, yeah, the normal layman would say, oh, Tank Davis is better. But better at what? Is he better at selling tickets? Is he better at selling stadiums out? Is he better at creating controversy? Is he better at getting followed on Instagram? Is he better at putting more eyeballs on the boxing? Is he better than him at that? The answer would be no. But is he better at him in a fight? It has to be really, you have to break it down.
Veteran boxing analyst and trainer Teddy Atlas also weighed in on the potential matchup, and he spoke about it with his usual blunt honesty. Speaking on his YouTube channel, Atlas said the first thing anyone notices when Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis stand side by side is the massive size contrast. According to Atlas, the physical difference is impossible to overlook. He pointed out that there's roughly an 8-inch gap in height between them, and the reach advantage leans even further in Jake's favor. From a visual standpoint, it's the kind of mismatch that immediately grabs your attention. But Atlas made it clear that size alone doesn't settle the outcome of a fight. He also highlighted the areas where Tank clearly holds the edge: natural boxing talent, high-level experience, and a much deeper understanding of the sport inside the ring. In Atlas' view, Davis operates with a level of ring IQ that few fighters can match, and Atlas added one more warning about what could happen if that skill shows up on fight night. If Tank lands one of those sharp, explosive shots directly on the chin, he suggested the result could be dramatic. Jake might find himself trying to regain his balance in a hurry.
In fight, to be honest, Jake Paul has a lot of followings, a lot of guys that are going to come and watch, and that gives the opportunity for other fighters to be seen on those cards, you know. So a lot of people don't agree, but at the end of the day, for me, it's entertainment. And if we can take boxing to the next level and give other fighters opportunities to be displayed and for other people, YouTubers and all that, to be seen, and hopefully all the YouTubers and people there are just there.
And that's exactly what keeps analysts coming back to the same point. Yes, Jake Paul, a boxer, is big, but Gervonta Davis hits like a freight train. It's not just raw power. His punches are delivered with pinpoint timing, perfect placement, and surgical accuracy. When you add in the fact that Tank has spent his career sparring and competing against faster, more technically polished opponents than Jake, that apparent size disadvantage starts to shrink in significance. Teddy Atlas even reminds fans that boxing's history is full of moments where smaller fighters dominated larger ones. It's a pattern that repeats across decades. Size matters, but it's never the ultimate factor. Skill, intelligence, and composure inside the ring have always been the real game changers.
Jake he ain't gonna fight back. He said, so I said, you gotta take him serious. You get what I'm saying? Because he talked about, he had you on a hit list before this fight even happened. So his mental is on you. So you have to take him serious.
There's still an ongoing debate about whether Jake Paul's physical advantages could present real challenges. As a natural cruiserweight, Jake Paul is accustomed to delivering heavy, slower power punches, shots designed to overwhelm through brute force. Gervonta Davis, by contrast, thrives on movement, sharp angles, and reading his opponents before they even know what's coming. He's built his career around speed, timing, and adaptability. In many ways, they're operating on entirely different planes: the raw, steady power of Jake versus the quick, calculated precision of Tank. That contrast is exactly what makes this matchup so intriguing.
Marketing genius, but when it comes to people that pick and lose fights, I can't get my head around it. If Tank hits him clean, he's going to sleep. He'll have a lot of smoke blowing up his backside by his coaching team and people like that, but when he gets hit for real, 10 ounce, well, I'm told it's 16 ounce gloves now, it's like an exhibition. Right. I'm told it's big gloves and head guards.
Teddy Atlas even referenced historic bouts where smaller fighters stun larger opponents, pointing to moments like Terence Crawford's masterclass against Canelo Alvarez as prime examples. Those fights showed that size alone doesn't guarantee victory. Still, Atlas cautioned that Tank's situation is different. Unlike a sanctioned title bout, where strict weight classes are enforced to keep the playing field even, this fight is an exhibition. That changes everything: the rules, the preparation, and the mindset required. According to him, the unique setup adds a whole new layer of uncertainty and makes the matchup far less predictable than a traditional championship fight.
I think that it's fair to call them boxers now. We talk about Logan brothers.
I think it's okay to call Jake Paul a boxer. The only reason why I say that is because he do be in the gym. He's working on stuff. The fight that he fought Mike Tyson, I don't think he should have fought Mike Tyson because of who Mike Tyson is and the age. And he said that he didn't try to knock him out. Yes, you did.
The Florida State Athletic Commission has now released the full breakdown of the bout. Fans learned that it will span 10 rounds, each lasting 3 minutes, with both fighters wearing 12-ounce gloves. Knockouts are allowed, Even though the result won't go on either fighter's official record in an unusual twist, the fight will be scored by 2 human judges alongside an AI judging system, adding a modern, experimental layer to the process. While no official winner will be declared, the setup otherwise mirrors a standard professional fight. The only distinction is the exhibition label, applied for regulatory and safety reasons. That structure has left some fighters conflicted. On one hand, it replicates the intensity and stakes of a real bout. On the other, the exhibition designation introduces an unusual dynamic that makes opinions divided on how seriously it should be taken.
The guy that knows how to sell a fight. Tank cannot sell a fight in his own division. You have the Paul brothers and they come over to boxing. Their idea from day one is we don't have the skills or the experience. What we're gonna do is we'll take on the absolute best guys, but they're gonna spot us some pounds. Tank has one job to do, that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skill, of which I am an abundance of.
The commission made it crystal clear. Officially, this bout will be recorded in the National Registry as an exhibition, meaning it won't affect either fighter's professional record. But in practice, the rules mirror a real fight. Knockouts and technical knockouts are fully valid and will immediately end the contest, just like in any standard professional match. In essence, the exhibition label exists only on paper. Once that opening bell sounds, the action inside the ring is completely real. Every punch lands with real force, every move carries genuine risk, and both fighters have everything to prove.
Tank looked very uncomfortable facing off. He just did. I've seen other face-off this Tank done. He gets in their face and they're intense and he looks good. He looked very meager up there. You've had 8 fights and you're gonna go tangle with Tank Davis. And the story instantly comes out. Jake is so much bigger. There is such a compliment to Jake within that insult. It is meant to.
Many fighters see the matchup for what is a big business move, and they're not wrong. It's a spectacle designed to generate massive attention and revenue, featuring 2 athletes who happen to be able to fight. That's why most pros aren't treating it as a traditional contest, even though they acknowledge it will pull huge numbers. Even Terrence Crawford, one of the world's top pound-for-pound fighters, weighed in on the situation. He admitted he doesn't view it as a real fight in the classic sense. It's more of a calculated business maneuver than a pure sporting contest, but Crawford didn't stop there. In an unexpected twist, he actually tipped Jake Paul as the likely winner if the fight goes all out. His reasoning? In a scenario where both fighters commit fully, the size and power factor that Jake brings could tilt the scales in his favor. Crawford was blunt about the challenge Gervonta Davis faces. In his view, Jake Paul's size is a serious factor. He praised Tank's talent, power, and explosiveness, but he also stressed that Jake brings something Tank hasn't dealt with in the same way before: raw mass behind a heavy, dangerous right hand. Crawford has seen Jake up close and knows the force he can generate. He isn't questioning Tank's skill or heart. Instead, he's looking at the physics of it. If Jake connects cleanly with that extra weight behind him, Crawford believes it could end the fight immediately. He summarized it simply: "Honestly, I think Jake wins by youth. He's just too big." In Crawford's eyes, if both fighters go all out, Jake has the power to turn the tide with just one solid shot. One well-placed punch could decide everything, no matter how skilled Tank is.
Paul versus Tank Davis, they just announced the fight. What's your instant reaction to that?
I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. I think it's not a real fight. Jake just too big. Tank ain't gonna be able to get in from that jab. Jake land one good punch on Tank.
On the flip side, Amir Khan has taken a much harsher stance. He didn't mince words, openly calling the fight disgusting. Khan's concern centers on safety. The size difference between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis is significant, and even though the bout is technically labeled an exhibition, the potential for real harm is very real in his eyes. Khan has expressed fears that something could go seriously wrong in the ring. While some might see his comments as extreme, they reflect genuine concern over the physical mismatch. He's looking purely at the fighter's safety rather than the promotional hype or financial upside, highlighting just how precarious this clash could become if things go off course.
No, in some things, I think Gervonta's just gonna stick and move. He'll be fast, play it smart, I don't see him staying still for too long so Jake can land some shots. He'll just try to touch him. Who knows, man? It's an exhibition. It's a money grab.
Meanwhile, much of the boxing community, particularly those close to Gervonta Davis, is echoing exactly what Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Calvin Ford have been stressing from the start. Size alone doesn't decide fights. Skill does. Tank brings everything a fighter needs to overcome bigger opponents: impeccable timing, pinpoint accuracy, and the calm composure to navigate pressure situations. He's proven it countless times in the gym, sparring with fighters who outweigh him. And now he has Floyd Mayweather Jr. back in his corner, fine-tuning every detail to make sure he's operating at peak performance when the bell rings.
Look at this face-off, Henry. What are your thoughts?
You're hearing that shit from me. That's cringe. In some weird way, I kind of like
cringe
it.
about it?
He's trying to big man the smaller guy, who the smaller guy to me is dangerous. I think Tank Davis is going to put the hands on him, but I like it, bro. I will say something about Jake Paul. He's brought a lot of attention to boxing. Tank Davis guaranteed $40 million.
If you were in that position, would you fight Jake?
On the other side, Lamont Roach Jr. hasn't held back his feelings about Gervonta Davis skipping their rematch to pursue the fight with Jake Paul. In a recent interview with Ring Magazine, Roach was blunt. There's a lot of people I could care less about, and he's one of them, that's for sure. Frustration with Tank isn't new for Roach, but this time, he sounded final. The issue, he explained, wasn't just that Tank chose another opponent. It was how he handled it. He disrespected me, Roach said. You might do things I could care less about, and that's fine, but he actually disrespected me. Me personally, I don't play like that. So don't disrespect me, and I won't disrespect you. For Roach, the problem went deeper than a missed rematch. It was the sense that after a tough, closely contested first fight, Tank completely brushed him off, leaving Roach feeling disregarded on a personal level, not just professionally.
Has gone too far. Jake Paul is taking on Gervonta Tank Davis in an exhibition bout this November. The fight will be taking place in Atlanta between the cruiserweight and the 135-pounder, nearly a 100-pound difference between the two guys. This is absolutely insane. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below.
And to be fair, Lamont Roach Jr. has a point. Calling for a rematch made total sense. Their first encounter ended in a draw, leaving fans hungry for a definitive conclusion. Instead, Gervonta Davis jumped straight into what's being called the biggest money fight of the year, an exhibition against Jake Paul. That move turned plenty of heads. While some people understand the business logic behind it, others, Roach included, view it as Tank prioritizing clout and cash over giving closure to a rivalry that deserved it.
What do you think of that?
I think that's terrible.
Why?
I mean, I get it, because at the end of the day, it's the money business, and you want to make the most money, but from what I'm hearing, he can make more money in a fight with me, and if that's the case, why not fight me?
Sure. Do you think he beats Jake Paul?
Do I think he beats Jake? Yeah. I mean,
It's a huge size advantage, though.
it is, but I think Tank got the skills to.
Hall of Famer Roy Jones Jr. shared his thoughts on the matchup during All the Smoke, and true to form, he didn't hold back. Jones said he's genuinely intrigued by the fight because of what both competitors bring to the table. Speaking on Tank's potential, he said, "I'm interested in the Tank versus Jake Paul exhibition because I know for a fact that if they go at it for real, Tank is capable. Even though he's smaller, he can knock Jake Paul out. But at the same time, Jake Paul is probably capable of knocking him out too, given his size advantage." Jones' perspective captures what many pros have been emphasizing, the classic size versus skill debate. He isn't ruling out either fighter. Jake's size gives him a clear physical edge, but Tank's explosiveness, power, and precision balance the equation. Having seen countless unpredictable fights in his own career, Jones knows one thing for sure. Once that opening bell rings, anything can happen.
It's kind of weird because Jake Paul is extremely bigger than Tank, and I mean, but with it being exhibition, it makes sense. It's fine. He got a big name that he's going to be fighting, but I mean, it really makes no sense because he weighs.
On the other hand, Ryan Garcia isn't buying into the hype at all. The fighter who faced Tank back in April 2023, only to be stopped in 7 rounds, took to social media to voice serious skepticism about the matchup actually happening. "I strongly doubt this happens," Garcia wrote online. No way Gervonta accepted 195 pounds. Gervonta is already naturally small, and you really think he's going to balloon up to 195? You've got to be delusional to think this is going to happen. For Garcia, the idea that Tank would willingly take on that kind of size disadvantage just doesn't add up, making him question whether fans are getting caught up in promotional hype more than reality.
Paul Gervonta Davis. I know on Instagram you called it a circus.
Yeah, this is boxing is slowly turning into the WWE. That's what I think.
Does Tank Davis have a chance?
Yes, but
yeah?
I don't even want to talk about it. Don't ask me questions like that again.
Garcia has shared the ring with Gervonta Davis himself, so he knows just how compact, disciplined, and careful Tank is about maintaining his natural size. To him, the idea of Tank walking around anywhere near 190 pounds sounds completely unrealistic. Yet almost in the same breath, Garcia pivoted, offering a surprising caveat. By the way, if the fight does happen, I'd bet on the heavyweight. That one statement speaks volumes about how even seasoned fighters are torn over what to expect. Size versus skill, risk versus opportunity. Now it's over to you. What's your take on this clash? Do you think Tank gains a serious edge from having Floyd Mayweather Jr. back in his corner? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for the latest updates and inside perspectives on this matchup.